Hello my faithful watchers and welcome to another Q&A video. Now I put out a tweet on Twitter asking you guys to ask me questions for this video and let's take a look at them all. Let's begin. Joe Cook, what inspired you to start making videos? Is there anything you'd like to do in the future on YouTube? Are there any shows other than Doctor Who that you're watching at the moment? I started making videos nearly 2 years ago now. I just found quite a lot of Doctor Who YouTubers, putting their stuff out, getting their stuff heard, like Mr. TARDIS reviews, Richard Lloyd, Miles Taylor. Yeah, I was kind of inspired by them just to, put my own stuff out there. And yeah, I got the Steelbook for Series 2 and I thought unboxing videos, they're quite popular, so I thought I'll make that my first video. I don't have to write a script, I literally just have to show off the product. That's all I have to do. Yeah, I just thought, why not have a go at it yourself? What's the future for YouTube? Well, if you've been keeping up recently, you've noticed that I've started doing YouTube poops, because I think they're really funny. Because I've been inspired by The Real Xbox Nerd and Christoph YTP. Real Xbox Nerd makes Thomas YouTube poops, Christoph makes Disney YouTube poops, and I thought, why not have a go myself in like their style, like tell a story like TRXN does, but rewrite a lot of it, and just have randomness from Christoph like a lot of YTPs do. But yeah, I would like to do more YTPs, but also I'd like to do more audio reviews as opposed to camera reviews, and because I plan to hopefully order a microphone soon and just start doing either reviews or book readings via audio, because I think that'd be cool to do. But yeah, I just hope to up the production values a bit more, get a bit more quality in. But I'm still going to carry on with YouTube, don't worry, it's not going anywhere. Are there any shows that I'm watching at the moment? The only one I can think of right now is Game of Thrones. But at the time of recording this video, it's now finished. Quite underwhelming. But no, there's not really any other shows other than Doctor Who that I'm watching, and I call myself a TV fan. I mainly stick to stuff I recognise. But yeah, there's not really anything I'm watching at the moment other than Doctor Who. Phillip Hawkins, as an actor, which stage role would you most like to portray? This is a very good question. As an actor, I would like to portray Richard III because I'm a huge fan of his story. He's pretty much the underdog of society, and he ends up becoming king. But it's not in a celebratory way. It's in through treachery, treason, and just him getting his own way. But Shakespeare kind of demonised Richard III when history would tell you he's probably not that bad. Yeah, he may have been deformed, but I don't think he was that much of a monster. But yeah, Richard III, fascinating character. I would love to portray him on stage. Dan Lloyd, which was better, Aquanoids or Beaster Bunny? I mean, this is like getting asked, would you rather be punched in the balls or kicked in the balls? Both are absolutely awful movies that I never want to watch ever again in my life. But if I have to choose which one was better, I would probably say Beaster Bunny. Yeah, Beaster Bunny, as awful as it was, I could actually tell what was going on. It was a giant zombie bunny that was attacking a small town. Aquanoids was so poorly filmed and shot that it was just unbearable to sit through. Beaster Bunny was laughably bad. I mean, it did make me cry sometimes because it was that bad. But Aquanoids, that was even worse because there was nothing to laugh at. It was just fucking awful. And you know what? I'm calling it now. Aquanoids is the worst movie I have ever seen. And I've seen a lot of garbage in my life. Yeah. So yeah, I am going to say Aquanoids. And J.J. Abrams, the film director, once said, everyone has access to a camera these days, so all you need is the motivation. If you've got a camera, go make your movie. Clearly these filmmakers took that to heart, and Aquanoids is awful, as is Beaster Bunny. Oliver Dallas, Which Doctor Who missing episode would you like to see animated next? Very good question. I'd like to see The Massacre animated next because it's my favourite First Doctor story. I know it's not one of the more popular stories from his era, but I personally love it. I think it's fantastic. But I have heard that will be quite hard to animate because there's a lot of supporting characters in there, and as it's a story set in history, the costumes and sets would probably be more detailed. Whereas you look at something like Power of the Daleks, everyone's pretty much dressed in overalls and the corridors are these long, monotonous, plain colony corridors. Yeah, there's not much detail in the sets of Power of the Daleks, whereas if you look at The Massacre, just through surviving photographs, it's pretty detailed because it's set in history. But yeah, I would like to see The Massacre animated, even though it's not likely, sadly. Yeah, The Massacre, definitely. But if I want to see a Troughton story animated, because I just said Hartnell there, Troughton, probably Fury from the Deep, because having watched the surviving clips, it just looks so scary. With the Mr. Oak and Mr. Quill and the way they breathe out that poisonous gas, it's just horrible. But yeah, I also heard Fury from the Deep would be quite easy to animate, so fingers crossed that might be the next one. Night. With your recent Thomas and Friends YTP videos, did the idea come first and you look for the relevant footage, or did the idea spring from a line/scene in an episode? Yeah, when making the Thomas and Friends YTP videos, I just basically, the way I made them is I took a random episode, preferably from the Michael Angelis era, because he's a funnier narrator to make YTP videos on. Yeah, I just took a random episode and I thought, okay, what can I do here to make this funny? What lines of dialogue can I replace with sex puns or swearing? Yeah, I basically, the way I make them, I just, take an episode, I go through it line by line, and I just sit there thinking, how can I make this funny? Sometimes I try and make it relevant to what the line was said, like, such as the recent one I did, in the episode, A Surprise for Percy. Percy's bored because he's working in the coal mines, and I thought, well, why don't we change it, because the Fat Controller said, no, Queen is filled with shit and you're not allowed to play it. That just came into my head. But sometimes I just think, screw it, I'll put something random in there. Like, when, like in the same YTP video I did, it says, the trucks reach the top. I thought of the line from Home Alone 2, Harry, I've reached the top. Then I thought of, I want to be like you, and had to stop, and that's what's been bothering me. Yeah, so a lot of the time I try to make a story round the YTP, but I also want to try and put in some randomness as well with it. Yeah, so it's basically just whatever comes to mind is how I really make them. Mary, if you were to be murdered, who would be the most likely suspect? Who would be the most likely suspect to murder me? I'm not too sure, because I can't think of anyone who doesn't like me that much. I can't think of anyone who wouldn't want me dead, mostly. I don't know who would want to murder me, because how many times in conversation do you say, oh, hello, do you want to murder me today? No, you don't. I don't know who the most likely suspect would be. If I am ever murdered, Mary, please figure it out. Mary, theoretically, you have a button that you can push that would immediately create world peace. But how much money would it take for you to give up world peace? I don't know how much money it would take to give up world peace. I'm gonna say... You know what? Money is actually the cause of a lot of conflict. So how about peace doesn't cost anything, it only costs humanity's choice to make world peace. So you know what? I wouldn't put any money on giving up world peace. I would let humanity decide for themselves. Cop-out answer, but that's what I believe. Mary, you're tasked with designing a punishment for heck. Heck is a version of hell for people who aren't bad enough to go to hell. What would you put in there? What would I put in my version of heck? Probably... you know, just have it be a white void, and then you can put what you have currently in there. For example, I'm currently in this room, and if I was putting Heck, I'd say, let's just put everything I've got in here, but I'm not allowed anything else, apart from food and drink. Yeah, that would be my version of Heck, just what I've got now, because it's not particularly exciting or heavenly, but it's not particularly horrible or hellish, for lack of a better word. So yeah, Heck is the middle, and yeah, I just believe I'm in the middle. Robot of Death. During which historical event would you have liked to have sent the First Doctor? I would have liked to have sent the First Doctor to meet, probably Henry VIII, because I think he mentions meeting him in, I think it's the Censorites or something, where he says he threw a parson's nose at me. I thought I'd like to see that, and I just find it odd how in Doctor Who's 56-year history they have never done one about Henry VIII. He's arguably one of the most iconic figures in history, and Doctor Who has never done a story about him, which I find quite surprising, because we've had a story about the OK Corral, which arguably not a lot of people know about, but Henry VIII has yet to remain untouched. But yeah, I'd like to have him meet Henry VIII, and I don't know what you'd do, because he lived quite a big life. So yeah, just have the First Doctor meet Henry VIII and figure it out from there. Keith Say, who is your favourite character in Star Wars and why? Favourite character, probably Luke Skywalker, because he goes from, you know, whiny farm boy to Jedi Knight to old hermit. And I can kind of see a lot of myself in Luke. When I was younger, I was whiny and impatient like him, but I feel like I've matured as a person and grown up a bit more, kind of like Luke does in the original trilogy. And all I've got to do now is become an old hermit somewhere and live off space cow tit milk. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to say Luke Skywalker, because I feel he's the most relatable for me. But yeah, I've only got to be the old hermit and I'm practically him. Tweaky, what has been your proudest achievement at university? My proudest achievement at university has probably been shock horror to so many people here. Probably Rapunzel, just doing that. Because it was the first time I ever sang on stage. It was the first time I had ever operated a puppet on stage, and it was the first time I had done the performance multiple times as opposed to just one. And yeah, it was just unbelievable. One of the best achievements of my life, not just university, because you know, the way you inspire kids, I mean, hopefully to go out and see more theatre, or have them come out of their shell because they've seen something that they enjoy and they want to, you know, meet you as well. But yeah, I'm going to say doing Rapunzel, playing Jackdaw. I only wish I could do it all again. But yeah, but also I'd say proudest achievement is probably I think just growing as a person, growing in confidence as a performer. Even though, you know, it's not drama school, it's just made me so much more confident as a performer. It just made me think, yeah, I can go out there and probably do this for the rest of my life. And yeah, I can go out there and get paid, hopefully, to do the things I love, as opposed to working in retail all the time. No offence to anyone who works in retail. But yeah, I'd say, so yeah, proudest achievement, growing in confidence as an actor, and doing Rapunzel. That's been my proudest achievement. Cocktie King. As a fan of both classic and new Doctor Who, what is your favourite episode from both sides of the show, and why? Okay, so if you're familiar with my channel here, you'll probably know what my favourite episode of all time is, and it is from a classic. It is from the classic era. It's Attack of the Cybermen. Yes, I love everything about this story because just has everything I love about Doctor Who. Great Doctor, great companion. My favourite villain, the Cybermen, on complete top form. They are just a force to be reckoned with here. Violence, humour, a really inventive, yet a bit intrusive musical score. Excellent location work, great sets, just great atmosphere. It's just really good. I enjoy it so much. It's filled with action, but also dialogue moments. Just brilliant. Great characters, great supporting cast, great performances. I just think it's fantastic. Yeah, so that's my favourite from Classic. New Who, I would have to go with the Pandorica Opens and the Big Bang. That is my favourite from the new series, mainly because it's just everything that I think a finale and an episode of Doctor Who should be. There's focus on emotion rather than logic. There's focus on the characters and how they're feeling. It's shot beautifully. I love the wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey aspects of the Big Bang. Matt Smith, Karen Gillan, Arthur Darvill, Alex Kingston, they are all on top form as actors, and their characters are as well. It's great seeing all the Doctor's enemies in the same room together. It is fan service, but you know, it's an interesting concept how they know that the universe is going to end, so for a brief time they put their differences aside and they focus their efforts on capturing the Doctor and locking him away so he can't destroy the universe. And I just think that's great. Plus, as a finale, it builds to everything in Series 5 has been leading to it. There has been a hint, the cracks in time, the TARDIS exploding, a piece of the TARDIS on the other side of the crack in time, people disappearing from history, events disappearing from history. You know, it's just, there's so much clues littered throughout Series 5 that build to the Pandorica Opens and the Big Bang. It's just fantastic, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So yeah, Classic, Attack of the Cybermen, New Who, the Pandorica Opens, and the Big Bang. Well everyone, that's all from me. I'd like to thank everyone who sent me a question. Be sure to like, share and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, and I shall see you all for more content in the future. Goodbye.